So, your firm's online presence has a direct impact on your ability to attract new clients and build a reputable brand for your practice. As a solo attorney or small law firm, it can be challenging to juggle running your business with that necessary self promotion tactics when attracting new clients. However, there are a few tried and true practices that can enhance your digital persona and make personal branding both efficient and reliable. So, today that's what we're going to be covering. We're going to be talking about the building blocks of a strong online presence, how to quickly and cheaply leverage social media marketing, and discuss a little bit of networking 101 for the busy attorney. So, in this first part, we're going to be splitting this up into three parts today. And in this first part, we're going to be talking about the building blocks of your strong online presence, starting with establishing your personal brand. So let's talk a bit about branding and messaging. Your firm's branding and messaging is going to help you convey who you are and who you help to anyone that's going to be interested in hiring your firm. And what's more, your branding decisions are also going to act as a driving factor for many, if not most, of your marketing decisions for your firm. Your firm's messaging is about the way you communicate your branding to the outside world. So, this includes the language, the tone, and style used in all client facing communications, such as website content, social media, email, advertising, and more. Your messaging should spotlight your firm's strengths, it should address client needs, and it should convey what makes you the best choice for legal representation. And most importantly, when you are consistent with your messaging, this helps reinforce your firm's branding and together build trust with your potential clients more quickly. If you found yourself in the somewhat foreign position of promoting yourself as a new solo attorney, or if you're part of a small law firm where you kind of need to put yourself out there a little bit more to get business, your branding and messaging is going to be that first major step towards you being able to consistently drive business without always having to shell out a ton of money for things like paid advertising. So, first, you've got your value proposition, and this is going to be guided by your professional tone or style that you set for your practice. So, for example, a family law firm might employ a compassionate or supportive tone for their messaging, while a corporate law firm is going to use more of a formal or authoritative style. Your firm's unique brand promise, or your mission statement, in other words, can help to clearly communicate your firm's values, goals, and what drives you to serve your clients. All communications from the website to social media posts should consistently reflect these core values, and in turn, this consistency is going to reinforce the firm's commitment to its principles and also help you build a coherent brand image. And then you have things that make up your visual identity, which represents, again, your firm's values, personality, and professional promise. Branding assets such as your firm's website, your business cards, your letterhead, and similar, those are all going to work together to help solidify your distinct image. This is going to include things like your logo, your color choices, which, speaking of color choices, I'm going to have another webinar in a couple of weeks on the 15th, where we are going to talk about color psychology for lawyers and law firms. It includes things like your fonts, images, stationery, and of course, the design of your website, which let's go ahead and talk about your website. So optimizing your law firm website. And we'll start by talking about some basics. So when a potential client visits your website, they're going to expect a modern interface, intuitive navigation, as well as attractive design. And if you feel like your website can't hit all three of these, then this definitely needs to be addressed, because a high quality website is not only what your potential clients will prefer, but it's going to be what they expect from your law firm. And for many, the first interaction with your website is going to be their overall first impression of your firm, and it could influence their decision to hire you. A pleasant user experience can help your firm nail that first impression and also convert the client, while something like a poor user experience is going to influence the client to maybe continue their search for legal representation. So the basics of what your website needs to be, both user-friendly and mobile-friendly, are one, easy and intuitive navigation, including if and how your pages encourage some sort of natural exploration. It needs fast load times, not only for desktop, but for your mobile site. Needs accessibility features like the ability to change the font size or the color contrast and similar options that help make your website more accessible to a wider range of users. And of course, high quality website content that works not just to attract website visitors from search engines, but also keep them engaged once they are on your website and encourage them to hire you. Then you have your essential pages that make up every successful law firm website, which includes the home page, the About Us page, or About the Firm page, which might also include attorney profiles. You need practice area pages with subcategories, a blog page, FAQ page, client testimonials with an optional case studies page, and of course your contact page. Once you have all of those pages, then you of course need written content on those pages. So this written content is going to be how Google is connecting your web pages with potential clients on search. Your website's content influences both when and how your potential clients discover your firm's website and their online journey, as well as how long or in depth that they're interacting with your firm online. And in the end, it's your website's written content that is the driving factor for how you're going to be able to use your website as the ultimate self-promotion tool. So regardless of your area of expertise, all high quality written content is going to have three elements in common. One, it's going to be informational. Two, it's going to be educational. And three, it's going to be written in plain language, so no legalese here. So for our Lawlytics members, we take content writing for your practice areas totally off your plate with the Lawlytics Smart Content Generation tool. Our practice area content is professionally written and it's optimized for search engine performance, so this eliminates the guesswork for what is going to actually perform online. And I'm going to take you all through this in a quick tour of the tool at the end of the webinar, but essentially all you're doing with this tool is choosing from one of our 300 plus practice area topics, customizing it, and then in just a few minutes, you're publishing multiple pages of practice area content to your website. Next, let's talk about managing your online reputation. Because, of course, if you're pursuing self-promotion for your business using primarily digital marketing, you're going to also need to know how to go about managing and nurturing that presence online. And the first part of all of this is going to be to remember to stay cohesive and consistent throughout your digital presence. I do think this is worth mentioning because it takes a surprising amount of self-restraint to actually stay cohesive throughout all of your digital marketing channels. Especially in today's age, you can feel like these touch points are just growing and growing in number, so it can get progressively harder to keep everything on the same page. And one of my best pieces of advice for you for handling this is to try to taper back and keep the digital channels that you're managing to a level that makes sense with your bandwidth, especially when it comes to social media, which we'll touch on in the next part. Other than being cohesive, the other major element of managing your online presence is how you leverage and manage your client testimonials. If you were present at my past webinar, this most recent one about testimonials a couple weeks back, you're already refreshed on these practices. But for those who don't know, client testimonials can be a major resource for your self-promotion endeavors. And part of this management looks like responding to all of your client reviews on social media or your Google business listing. But it also looks like making sure that you're actively pursuing new testimonials from happy clients. Because strong testimonials can be integrated into your website, they can be shared to social media, used on marketing materials, and turned into video so that your potential clients can see them, resonate with them, and make that connection with you as a good choice for their legal representation much more quickly. So this is a super effective, super powerful self-promotion tool. However, and we did talk about this during our webinar a couple weeks back, but when you put yourself out there online, you of course run the risk of receiving negative feedback from time to time. And it's not a glamorous answer, but the best way to deal with this is to just respond to the review just as you would with any other one, as you should be responding to all of your reviews, and continue to try to get more and more positive ones so that any negative ones can continue to be pushed down further the page until they're essentially forgotten altogether. Okay, now we're going to be moving into part 2, talking about leveraging social media marketing. And of course, we should start with what is the social media green zone. And we've talked about this in the past, but these are the 3 social media platforms that we recommend to attorneys because they create the most likelihood for you to connect with potential clients online, as well as referral sources, and they have the highest likelihood of um, creating that impact that you're looking for with social media with the least amount of effort. So of course you have LinkedIn, which is a professional networking platform that's ideal for business to business connections and showcasing your expertise. This is a great platform for sharing professional updates, helpful articles, as well as participating in other legal groups. Then you have X, or Twitter as it was in the past. That is a fast-paced platform that is suitable for sharing the latest news, some insights, as well as engaging in discussions that are happening in real time. And then you have Facebook, which is super versatile for both personal and professional engagement. And it's effective for creating a business page, sharing maybe some longer posts, and building a community through groups. And then I want to talk about some best content types and some tips for growth. So the first thing you're going to need to do when you are thinking about um, how to advance the impact of your social media presence or grow your reach is you're going to, of course, need a target audience, just like you would with any other um, marketing aspect of your digital marketing plan, or maybe it was what you thought about when you were building out your website. But who is this actually for? Who are you trying to attract? And a lot of attorneys, when they're starting out, they will create some sort of client persona. So you want to think about, for your social media, is this going to be the same or a similar attraction, or the feelers that you're putting out as your client persona? And whatever it is, you want to narrow it down and stay consistent with your messaging. Again, the cohesiveness and the consistency is going to be very important with your social media. To create posts quickly and cheaply, there are a few really good tips for this. One, you can use a scheduling tool. A lot of attorneys, especially busy ones, find it very beneficial to kind of create their posts in a batch, schedule them out, and then they don't have to think about it until maybe a month later when it's time to create their new batch. If you're wondering how often you should be posting, I really just recommend once a week. I think just keeping something very consistent and something very accessible to you and your bandwidth, especially being so busy. Um, if you kind of taper it down and make it about once a week as your goal, you're going to be much more likely to stick to that goal and then reach that consistency goal that you are looking for, and then you'll see the benefits of this as time goes on. Another tip I have is to use a program called Canva. You might already be familiar with this, but it's called canva.com, and it's a free graphic design tool, and there's lots of really great free templates where you can maybe create testimonial creatives as well as infographics, or if you want to create something for a firm announcement, maybe you have a new hire, something like that. If you start with Canva and plug in your firm's branding, your colors, things like that, you can make sure that all of your social media posts that are graphic designed and not just text posts or images are going to be cohesive, they're going to look professional, and they're all going to match. And then also, I would suggest that you look for places to repurpose content. Again, you're only really posting once a week, but it can be hard to even get yourself to do that sometimes, right? So, say you dedicated that month to writing a blog. A blog is a great thing to post on social media, but you want to see where you can use it for more than one instance. You want to see where you can kind of squeeze everything that you can out of it. So you maybe one of the days you're posting the actual link to the blog as well as the image that corresponds with the blog. Maybe another week you are taking a short snippet from that blog and then that is your social media post. Or maybe you are making an infographic that corresponds with the blog and that's your social media post. So think about some other ways that you can take your hard work and kind of piecemeal it out just a little bit more. And then also just as a little extra for you guys today, I do have a 4-week social media calendar that you can follow. It gives you content for every single day if that's something you wish to do. But again, since it is 4 weeks of everyday content, you can use that for multiple weeks if you choose to only post once a week. So I'm going to share that with you in the chat. And it's just a lot of content ideas for you if you're feeling stuck and need a starting point. And then lastly, you have the types of posts that perform best for lawyers. And that's going to be things that talk about your story. So maybe what brought you to this area of law, why you became a lawyer, challenges in your career, things like that. You can talk about updates, news, and your blog posts. That's pretty straightforward. You can post case results that you feel like might resonate with potential clients. Make sure to provide plenty of context, but without being, of course, revealing of confidential information. You can post client testimonials, like we mentioned, either in that graphic design format. I've seen attorneys take pictures of written letters that have been sent to them from happy clients, maybe create a short video. All of those are great ways to share testimonials. Then there's firm highlights. So maybe your firm all volunteered at a food bank, or maybe it's your firm's anniversary of opening, or maybe you have a new hire, or maybe you changed up your stationery, or maybe you got new chairs in the office. Who knows? All of those are great things to share on social media and just keep your feed engaged. And then last is any sort of community involvement or engagement. So if, again, this is something if you went to an attorney happy hour or you're volunteering out in the community, anything that seems appropriate to share, go ahead and share it. Don't be shy and don't think too much about it. It's just social media. And then part 3, let's talk about networking 101 for the busy attorney. And starting with this first, let's talk about the benefits of networking. And many of you may already know this, but it's good to have a reminder every once in a while because networking is definitely something that maybe we don't always look forward to, depending on your personality. So the benefits are varied. One, it's of course career advancement. So you can find new opportunities, partnerships, referrals, and mentorship all through networking. You can pursue knowledge sharing with networking and learn new industry trends, learn best practices, and just hear from diverse perspectives. And then you can also increase your visibility. Again, this is a webinar about self-promotion. So this is going to help you create your solid referral network. It's going to help raise your profile, going to lead to more speaking engagements and invites to panels, media coverage, etc., which are all really great marketing opportunities. So starting first with in-person networking. The first thing you want to do when you are pursuing networking in more of a organized sense, it would be to, of course, start with a goal. So I would set the goal for yourself to try to attend a networking event 3 times a week. Of course, that's a really high goal, but the intention behind this is to set a high goal so that maybe you go once a week or twice a week. So set it really high for yourself so that you can kind of meet yourself more in the middle or on the lower end of that. And regardless of your goal, just go ahead and set up new opportunities frequently. Again, these can be as small as a coffee and as large as a conference. So if you're just constantly filling up your calendar and thinking weeks and weeks ahead, this is going to seem like less of a headache for you as you go forward and set up all of these opportunities. The next thing I want you to do is have a little business card audit for yourself. I want you to look at your business card and ask yourself if it says who you are and who you help very clearly. Does it say John Smith, attorney at law? Okay, if I met John Smith and I know he's attorney, okay, duh, I met 100 attorneys at XYZ event. But what do you do, John Smith? I need to know who you help so that it can help jog my memory later when I'm looking through all of my business cards. Maybe I'm looking for someone to refer a case to, and I'm not sure who in my network that would be a good person or good recipient for. And so I'm looking back at my business cards. But if you just say your business card is attorney at law, that doesn't help me connect the dots at all. So just an example. You want to also look on your business card. Does it have more than one way to contact you? So you need not just your phone number, but also your email. Does it have your website URL? You should definitely be listing your website. This is, again, another easy way for people to connect the dots with who you are and who you help, and help identify in their brains and click who you are much more quickly. And then lastly, just as a little tidbit, what is going to make your interaction memorable? So when you're exchanging business cards, what is that elevator speech, or what is that little something that helps people make that connection with who you are, again, and who you help? And then just some little tips about conferences. Again, if you're newer to the solo attorney world, or you're new to the small law firm life where you kind of have to put yourself out there a little bit more and you're a little bit more responsible for getting your own business, conferences can be super helpful and super important for this. So you want to do some research beforehand on any sort of events that are happening, attendees, and panelists, and just get yourself familiarized with what is going on every single day. Also, just make a goal. Maybe you want to collect 50 business cards, or maybe you want to connect with 50 people on LinkedIn, or whatever it is. Go ahead and make a goal so that you have something to reach. You also want to attend a diverse assortment of event types. So, not just going to the pool's happy hour, but going to a bunch of different event types so that you can meet different types of people to hopefully network with. And then also, don't be afraid to go outside of your practice area. It makes a sense to a lot of attorneys to kind of stay within their practice area because they're the same industry. It's easy to talk with those people. But what's going to be best for your abilities to get more referrals is to actually go outside your practice area, because if you are only talking to personal injury attorneys and you are a personal injury attorney, they don't really necessarily need to refer any cases to you unless they're just somehow overloaded or for some sort of outside reason. But if you're making really good connections with family law attorneys, maybe they have clients that had a PI need, or they had some other connection that had a PI need, and then you are that referral source. And then lastly, you want to nail the follow-up. So this is going to be either a personalized email, or I would suggest 100% of the time connecting with that person and DMing them on social media. And then also remember that you need to scratch their back so that they can scratch yours. So this is either going to be engaging with their social media really enthusiastically, kind of pumping them up there, or maybe thinking about them when you need to send a referral to someone, or thinking about ways that you can help them before always thinking about how they can help you. And that's always just a better perspective to approach this with. And then lastly, you want to check in periodically and or stay on their radar on social media, like I mentioned. And we're going to be talking about this more in the next slide with our online networking. So let's start with a LinkedIn crash course. LinkedIn is a great resource because your profile on LinkedIn already ranks on Google. This is because LinkedIn has already totally achieved SEO for their own website. So any other LinkedIn profiles, when I search your name or your firm name, this might even show up before your website does. So it's really important to take the time to make sure your LinkedIn looks as great as it possibly can and also gives as much information about you as it possibly can. So again, if a potential client is trying to do more research before they decide to hire you, they might read your attorney bio on your website, but it's also likely that they're going to review your LinkedIn profile. So to put your best foot forward on LinkedIn and grab the attention of your potential clients, there's actually a few things that you can do for your profile that's going to help drive traffic back to your website. One is going to be quick optimizations. So setting up your profile to be public, completing the intro section with practice area keywords, making sure that you're providing contact information such as your email or phone number, choosing the best career history. And by this, I mean choosing to only display the career history that makes sense to your practice area or to your expertise. So if you were a dog washer in the past, but you're a family law attorney now, maybe just omit the dog washing experience on your LinkedIn profile. And then you also want to optimize your liked pages to align with your branding. So on every LinkedIn profile at the or towards the footer of the page, you can see each other's liked pages. So you want to make sure that those are aligned with you. And not only do you want to check and make sure that there's not any like extraneous likes that you don't want to feature, but also just make sure that you've liked your old college or your old or where your bar associations or things like that, so it's just aligned with the rest of your LinkedIn page. And then using LinkedIn to build your network. Again, you always want to connect with new people after you've met them, in a time frame where it's still going to be fresh in their mind. You want to also try to join some groups. These can be helpful for networking in a more controlled environment, if you're someone who likes to share resources and connect with people that way. If you get messages on LinkedIn from connections you've made, always respond to these, and don't be afraid to start any sort of new conversations with people that you've met recently. Be sure to like other people's posts, but also make comments and really show that you're engaged. And then also, LinkedIn gives you an opportunity to give and request recommendations to other attorneys. So under the More tab on a LinkedIn profile, there's a request/recommend button. And so you can leave recommendations for people and then also request recommendations. So again, this is like part of the you're scratching their back and they're scratching yours, where if you leave a recommendation for someone, they're much more likely to leave one for you as well. And then the last part of it is, of course, to post. Regardless of what you're doing, I would recommend, again, that 1 week or one time a week posting cadence, but also just make sure that you're, sorry, I lost my train of thought. But also just make sure that you're engaging for about 5 minutes a day, and that should be enough time, even just in that 5 minutes, to like posts, comment on posts, respond to messages, things like that. And then the other aspect of online networking that there is online legal communities. So when pursuing this, you can focus on platforms like forums, listservs, or some sort of professional association where your target audience and your peers are most active. So that's where you want to kind of keep your focus with things like this. And then once you do identify legal communities that make sense, You want to actively engage by regularly contributing to discussions and just overall being helpful. So that's answering questions, posting relevant articles, just positioning yourself as a resource. And then also try to reach out to people individually and continue conversations that maybe you started on some sort of forum and just help build connections that way and maybe even offer to collaborate somehow. And then the last thing is relationship building through social media. My best tip for relationship building through social media is just going to be consistency. If you're maintaining an active presence by posting and engaging, again, that just 5 minutes a day, then it's going to be much easier for you to actually foster relationships that can be very beneficial to your referral network. Another part of this is just be genuine and approachable when you interact with other people's posts. So you don't really need to put on a facade to get the most out of social media. If you're just interacting as yourself, then that's going to come across a lot more genuine and get you a lot further. You also want to make sure that you're creating and sharing content of value. So whether it's a blog, article, tip, or resource, just make sure it's actually valuable, informational, and just helpful in general. And that's going to get you a higher likelihood of reciprocity. And then lastly, use storytelling. Storytelling is an amazing tool to use not just on social media, on all of your marketing, but just definitely on social media. If you are sharing something of value, but then you also have a compelling story to kind of go with it, this can make your posts much more relatable and engaging. So your firm's website is the foundation of your digital marketing strategy and your self-promotion strategy. And a high quality modern website is going to be that first step to targeting your local ideal client more efficiently and affordably. What we do is streamline the technical and digital marketing aspects of managing your firm's website. And our platform is super simple to use and puts you in control of your digital marketing. What you see on the screen here are just some of the ways that Lawlytics can help you achieve your marketing goals. But I also want to take a quick look at the technology so I can show you around a bit. And if you have any questions at any point, just drop those in the chat for me and I'll answer those at the end. So starting off with our Lawlytics dashboard, this is kind of the landing spot if you have a website with us where you can access quick shortcuts to make any sort of edits to your website. So we have a whole menu of options up top, but then we also have some shortcut buttons if you see for example, to get to our content library that we mentioned previously, creating a new page, new case result, new blog, things like that. But then up here, we can also access our sites, blogging, look who has submitted any new form submissions on our website, take a look at our image and video library, take a look at our website performance analytics, things like that. So let's go into a website and take a look. Again, if you had multiple law firm websites with us, they would all be nested right here, and then you can kind of just pick and choose which website you want to make edits to. So we're just going into one of our websites here, and then immediately we're taken to the back end of what our website looks like. So basically on the left side is our website navigation menu. These are all the tabs and pages that are on my website. And then on the right, as I click through this is the actual content that's on that page. So let me take you to the front end of this website just to show you. So again, everything that was on the left is on the top in our navigation menu. And then this is just an example of what your website could look like. Maybe your logo's up here, click to call phone number. Maybe you have like some sort of image slider, little description of the firm, your clickable icons for your practice areas, as well as a contact form, just as an example. But as you saw with our navigation menu up top, this is how everything is organized at the moment. But say I wanted to switch criminal defense with estate planning because I'm getting a lot more clients for estate planning and I just want to feature that. a little bit higher up on my navigation menu. All I would need to do on the back end is click on estate planning and drag it above criminal defense. And then when I go back to my website, it's going to be updated for me in real time. So I didn't have to code anything and it didn't take any downtime, and it's just updated right away. So the first thing I want to show you guys is creating a client testimonial. We talked about this as one of the major self-promotion tactics. So creating a new testimonial on your Lawlytics website is super easy to do. Not only can you create new ones on demand by just clicking new, plugging in a title, plugging in the testimonial, and choosing some other customizations. When you do this, this can be published to your website immediately or saved as a draft, but I can also pursue outgoing requests and send out outgoing requests so that I can consistently get new testimonials directly to my website. So super convenient for both of these reasons. And then the next thing I want to show you, oh, and another thing about this, so you see how they're ordered at the moment. It's the same thing as the other section of my website. If I want to reorder these, all I need to do is click and drag, and then when I go on the front end of my website, that'll be automatically rearranged for me on my client testimonial page. Next, I want to show you the content library. So I'm just going to actually go directly to this tab. And again, this is our library of practice area content that is quick and customizable for you so that you can practice pages of practice area content in just one sitting. So we have 20 practice areas at the moment to choose from, and then again, over 300 practice area topics. So let's say we were in nonprofit law. There's only a couple topic areas for this at the moment, but as you can see right here, you can message us to request a topic. We are growing this library on an ongoing basis, so we really welcome the request for new topics, and we put that in our queue of sorts. But let's say we wanted to get this FAQ page for our website. On the left, we can see all the ways that the content has been optimized. So this has a bunch of link opportunities, it has optimized subtitles, it's a high converter page, and then it also is going to help me establish my law firm brand, which is again very beneficial for my self-promotion strategy. On the right is the preview of the content, and then everything that's in blue is what I'm going to be customizing in the next step. So once I kind of take a peek at this and is something that I want to customize for my website, I'm going to click use this template. And then right away, everything that has been populated on my left is now updated on the right in blue. As you can see, I have this save entries box checked. So that means that the last time I filled out this information, I just did it once, clicked the save entries. So now when I go in to add a new page to my website with a new template, all of that information is already ready for me and I get to skip a step. And then my last step is to complete the customization. I'm brought back to this kind of back end area where I can change my title, nest it under a parent page, make any edits to the content that I'm looking for, maybe add a table or a widget or an anchor link or image or video, whatever I'm looking for, and then save it, publish it directly to my website at that moment, or save it as a draft for later. So just a little bit about that. The last thing I'll show you very briefly is connecting your social media accounts to your Lawlytics dashboard. This is going to be just under your profile and under social media accounts. So what this is beneficial for is if I had a blog post or if I had a blog post and I wanted to connect that to, or sorry, post that directly to social media after I've written it without going through that extra step of kind of copy and pasting that content or that link in my Facebook, I can just directly post it to that account. So mine isn't connected it at the moment, but as you can see, I have the capability to connect both LinkedIn and Facebook so that, and I can choose which site I want to connect that with so that when I create the new blog, I can have that posted directly to my social media account. And again, skip that step and get my one post a week out of the way for that week. So let's go back to our slides here. So that's going to be the end of the presentation today. If you would like to see a little bit more of a detailed demo of this technology, or if you have any questions about having a successful website with us, these are all great ways to get in touch with us. I will hold on for questions. If you have any at the moment, I'll just hold on for just a bit, but thank you again for joining us. I'm sorry about being muted at the beginning of today's webinar, but I hope that that didn't take away from anything today. So enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you again.